Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a wild trip back in time. We all know the modern day frustration of the internet going down. You unplug the router, you wait 10 seconds, you plug it back in and hope for the best. But have you ever wondered what that process might have looked like in the 1800s? What if the internet existed in the age of steam, cassettes, and gas lamps? Let's imagine we're a Victorian-era technician trying to troubleshoot a network connection. It's a bit of fun, a bit of history, and a whole lot of absurdity. So, grab your monocle and top hat, because we're about to dive into the wonderful world of 19th century internet troubleshooting. Alright, picture this. It's London, 1888. A frantic message arrives via pneumatic tube. Sir, the Babbage analytical engine at the Royal Society has lost its connection to the global telegraphy. See network. My first thought isn't about Wi-Fi signals. No, my first concern is the steam engine. Is the boiler pressure stable? Is the furnace properly stoked with high-quality coal? A drop in pressure could mean the entire system grinds to a halt. I'd rush over to the engine room, a cacophony of hissing steam and clanking metal. I'd check the pressure gauge, polish it with my handkerchief to make sure I'm reading it correctly, and shout at the coal stoker, "More coal, man, put your back into it." The very fabric of modern communication is at stake. If the pressure is low, we're not just rebooting a router, we're literally adding more fuel to the fire. A stable power source is everything, and in the 1800s, that means a well-fed, roaring furnace. Once I'm confident the steam engine isn't about to give up the ghost, my next step is to check the physical lines. Forget fiber optics, we're talking about a sprawling, tangled web of copper telegraph wires stretching across rooftops and along railway lines. A single break in the line could take down the whole network. So, I dispatch a team of young lads, we'll call them line runners, to physically inspect the cable. They'd have to climb telegraph poles, traverse rickety rooftops, and brave the London fog. Their job is to look for any obvious damage, a fallen tree branch, a mischievous flock of pigeons, or perhaps even a rival telegraph company sabotaging a line. It's a manual, painstaking process. Each runner would have a small galvanic battery and a galvanometer to test segments of the wire. They tap out a test signal and wait for a response from the next runner down the line. It's like a high-tech game of telephone, but with a very real risk of falling off a roof. But what if the line itself is fine? The problem could be much smaller, much more biological. Yes, I'm talking about spiders. In a complex mechanical system like a Babbage engine, filled with thousands of tiny, moving brass cogs and levers, a single spider spinning a web in the wrong place can cause chaos. It could jam a critical gear or interfere with a delicate switching mechanism. This actually happened in early computing history. The term computer bug literally came from a moth found in a relay. So, my next troubleshooting step would be a debugging of the most literal kind. I grab a pair of fine tweezers and a magnifying glass and meticulously inspect the machinery. It's a delicate operation. You have to be careful not to dislodge any of the precisely calibrated parts while evicting our 8-legged squatter. It's not a software patch, it's a pest control issue. Now let's say the steam is up, the lines are clear, and the machine is free of arachnids. The problem might be with the input medium itself, the punch cards. These cards, with their intricate patterns of holes, are the software of the 1800s. A single misplaced hole, a slight tear, or even a bit of humidity causing the card to warp could result in a catastrophic error. The machine would just stop mid-calculation. So I would have to take the entire stack of punch cards and inspect them, one by one, holding each up to the gaslight. Card for 1721. Ah, there it is. A slight tear near the 7th perforation. The solution? Not downloading a new file. I'd have to get a fresh card and painstakingly replicate the whole pattern using a hand crank card puncher. One mistake, and you have to start all over again. It's the 19th century equivalent of finding a typo in a million lines of code, okay? So we've checked the power, the lines, the hardware bugs, and the software that punch cards. What's left? The human element. The operators of these magnificent machines were highly trained, but prone to error like anyone else. Perhaps the operator loaded the punch cards in the wrong order. It's a simple mistake, but one that could lead to complete gibberish coming out of the machine's printer. So I'd have a stern but polite conversation with the operator. "Mr. Higgins, are you quite certain the astronomical calculation stack was loaded before the tile prediction stack? The manual clearly states the sequence is paramount." We then have to reset the entire machine, which involves manually turning a series of heavy cranks and levers to bring all the cogs back to their zero position and reload the cards in the correct sequence. It's the ultimate have you tried turning it off and on again, but it takes the people and about half an hour of physical labor. Let's consider another point of failure: signal degradation. Over long distances, the electrical signal in a telegraph wire would weaken. Today, we have amplifiers and repeaters. In the 1800s, they had relay stations. These were buildings staffed 24/7 by telegraph operators. Their job was to receive a weak, incoming message and immediately retransmit it with a fresh electrical charge. So, if a connection from London to Paris was down, I'd have to send a telegram to the relay station in Dover. Dover station, please report status. Is the incoming signal from London coherent? Test your battery voltage. Acknowledge. If I don't get a reply, then I know the problem lies somewhere between London and Dover. But if they reply, I then have to message the next station in Calais, and so on. It's a slow, methodical process of elimination, tracing the signal's path from one human-operated node to the next. Every link in the chain is a potential point of failure. And what about a full-blown system crash? In our world, that's a blue screen of death. In the 1800s, it would be a literal crash. A gear could strip, a piston could seize, a drive belt could snap. The sound would be horrifying, a screech of tortured metal followed by a sudden, deafening silence. In that case, troubleshooting is over. It's time for major repairs. You wouldn't call IT, you call a team of mechanical engineers and blacksmiths. They'd arrive with heavy tool chests, calipers, and maybe even a portable forge. They'd have to disassemble the affected section of the machine, diagnose the broken part, and then either repair it or fabricate a new one from scratch. This isn't a one-hour fix. This could take days or even weeks. The whole time, the internet would be down and the world would have to wait. Finally, if all else fails, after checking every cog, every wire, and every punch card, there's one last resort: the blame game. I would write a very formal, lengthy report explaining that the issue is not with our equipment, but likely due to atmospheric interference. It is my professional opinion that an unusual alignment of the planets, combined with excessive sunspot activity, has generated a miasma of electromagnetic etheric disturbance, rendering telegraphic communication temporarily impossible. It sounds ridiculous to us, but in an era where science and superstition were still shaking hands, it might just be believable enough to buy you some time, until the problem mysteriously fixes itself, or until the line runner boy finally finds that broken wire he missed the first time. It's the ultimate escalation to a higher authority, blaming the heavens themselves. So there you have it. Troubleshooting the internet in the 1800s. It's a world away from our plug-and-play simplicity. It involves steam power, physical labor, meticulous mechanical work, and a healthy dose of sheer guesswork. It really makes you appreciate that little blinking box in the corner of your room, doesn't it? The next time your Wi-Fi drops, just be thankful you don't have to check the boiler pressure or de-spider a room-sized calculator. What do you think would be the most frustrating part of this old-school tech support? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this little trip through time, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more content. See you in the next one.